fascinating time we're in right now, as everyone is well aware of, with respect to the changes in the economy and some of the things we're seeing happening between men and women in marriages. A lot of confusion with respect to the roles that men and women play now as a result of, I hate to say it, this bottom line is money.
I think a lot of the men are suffering what I would call kind of a modern-day tribal shame. Most men defined who they were in terms of their self-esteem by their professions, their jobs. And as these jobs became impacted, careers became eliminated or downsized, they are suffering. There's a lot of pain out there.
What I've observed is there's a lot of men that they are having difficulty processing what's going on with them, and they're closing down, or what, like John Gray likes to say, going in the cave. The problem is a lot of them are going in the cave and they aren't coming out. They've never been in a place like this before, and it's taken a certain period of time and they've shut the woman out. So unless the two of them can get together in their communication openly, it puts them at, in some cases, opposition.
When a man suffers shame by not having the ability to produce anymore for his family and his woman, then that shame is going to potentially manifest into resentment, escalate into anger, and that anger typically is going to ground itself in one of two ways, and sometimes both. One is a lot of self-abuse, such as addictive behaviors, everything from gambling, drinking, drugs, sex, or in abuse, such as spousal abuse, or worse yet, both. We have to take a position that we are 100% responsible for our lives right here, right now. She is not the reason we're this way. Our bosses aren't the reason that we are this way. The economy isn't the reason we are this way. We are the reason we are this way right here, right now. Once you accept that responsibility, at least you begin to establish a framework for being able to initiate new ways of thinking, shifts in consciousness for the potentiality of manifesting new visions and dreams and things like this.
Definitely there are changes in the household when the man's job is impacted, because there's been a context that the relationship has been operating under for some time, and she probably liked it the way that it was. And this is now a shift. And she's got to go through that entire process of, am I willing to be in this relationship if A, she thinks that there's no hope? And why would she think that? You talked about shame. We talk about what are the changes that a man goes through. Whatever the circumstances are, her questions to herself are going to be, is this going to change? What is the future going to look like? Or am I willing to adapt and accept a different lifestyle that she may not even know what that's going to look like?
She is going to have to be both compassionate, which is a very, very strong, feminine quality, and equally, I want to say, assertive and directive.
If she goes in there and starts making a bunch of suggestions, like trying to fix him and help him out, a lot of guys are going to be kind of taken back by that. It goes right to their pride, like, leave me alone, let me figure it out for myself. They don't feel, it makes them feel less than. More like she's telling them what to do kind of thing. And no matter how you try and couch it, man has to believe in himself. She can say, I support you, but she can't do it for him. And if she goes off and she starts doing her own thing, and let's say she picks up momentum and she's going strong with that, now there's a role reversal.
She's going to have to navigate very, very carefully here, because there's so much at stake in terms of his pride, his ego, his sense of self.
So he's going through pain, and a lot of times the focus ends up going to his pain because it's so much more obvious. He lost the job. Her pain is considered secondary in a lot of cases, but she's lost a lot of things. She's lost her man, first of all. She lost the man that she was relying on. He's now changing. She doesn't know where that's going. She's feeling insecure, not just with respect to the finances, but her partner.
Where does love? Am I that old-fashioned? I mean, where does love fit into this as, let's say, the glue? It's often been said that love is the most powerful energy in the world. People say, well, the opposite of love is hate. No, the opposite of love is fear. Where is the potentiality of helping her significant other, her divine complement, perhaps?
A lot of times in the interaction, when a man's ego is fragile at that point, it's difficult to talk to him. How does the woman dance around the ego fragility that a man might be experiencing as a result of those changes?
Carefully. The ego is a liar because it really convinces the person, in this case the man, that he's something that he isn't, such as a worthless, unemployed ex-executive. The ego isn't about the heart. The ego is about the head. He's got to come back to the heart. He's got to really kind of re-examine here. Where is his true passion?
Let's go to the scenario that you were talking about with the soft side of the woman and supporting the man and the compassion in that. So now she's got to be able to turn it on and off, on and off, on and off, because now she's the warrior going out.
And the problem is?
The word bitch. When she comes home maybe from having to deal with 10 different things, she's more in a kind of role, and it's giving orders, it's this, it's that, and that's a lot of times referred to as being a bitch.
I would really like to think of this as not being a bitch or a non-bitch, but rather being a partner.
The man thinks that he's got to do something really big to create a shift. It's like, get that job that was even maybe bigger and better or whatever before he can save himself. But what he doesn't recognize is, and it gets overlooked, and on both sides, both the men and women, is the power of doing the little things. And what in some cases, when it's at these kinds of stress levels, that's all there is.
Often in corporate training sessions, we talk about this as the gift of failure.
Okay.
All right? That within the failure are many, many lessons and many new treasures and jewels. What is it exactly that is in this failure that in reality is a treasure and a gift? And that may be one of the real unexpected byproducts of this economic crisis we're going through.